Evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. You are at our September 15th Roseville City Council meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask our Assistant City Clerk to please read the roll.
Vice Mayor Haddishelt.
Here.
Councilmember Alvord.
Here.
Councilmember Riccucci. Here. Councilmember Mendonça.
Here.
Mayor Bernasconi.
Here. Thank you. Next, we have the Pledge of Allegiance, and we also have the honor of having our retired Sheriff Ed Bonner with us. Would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Assistant City Clerk, can you announce the procedures for addressing the City Council?
Good evening and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. If you've not already picked up an agenda, they are available at the end of the staff table. If you're here to speak to an item that's on the agenda, you may do so under public comment with a 3-minute time limit. As a reminder, the Brown Act does not allow the council to take action on items not listed on the agenda. If you wish to speak to an item that is on the agenda, you must stay within a 5-minute time limit. Members in attendance may address the City Council at the podium, and there is also a phone-in option where comments can be made by calling 916-774-5353. Speaker time limits will be monitored. When the light blinks red, you will be asked to conclude your comments. If you do address council tonight, we would appreciate your name for the record.
Thank you very much. We do have one presentation this evening. It's a proclamation in recognition of Pride Industries during National Disabilities Employment Awareness Month, and I will present the proclamation at the podium.
You want me to take it off?
No, I'm going to speak too. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Are you okay with me?
Yeah. Do you want me to wait here with you?
Oh, yeah. No, stay right here. I was just making sure he's okay if I don't have my mask on so that you
Absolutely.
can more easily understand me. But the council tonight, we are pleased to be able to offer Pride this proclamation in recognition of Pride Industries during National Disabilities Employment Awareness Month. So I will read to you portions of it and then give you an opportunity to make some comments too. And I should say this is Jeff Dern, the new CEO of Pride Industries. Okay, whereas as the leading employer of people with disabilities in the nation, Pride Industries delivers business excellence with a positive social impact. And whereas through personalized employment services, Pride helps individuals of all abilities realize their true potential and lead more independent lives. Whereas Pride demonstrates the value of inclusive workforce model through operational success across multiple industries every day. And with proven performance for more than 50 years, Pride optimized customer operations in private and public organizations nationwide while creating sustainable employment opportunities for people with disabilities. Whereas as a nonprofit social enterprise, Pride provides facilities, operations, maintenance services, custodial services, contract manufacturing, supply chain management, packaging and fulfillment services, staffing and recruitment services to private and public organizations nationwide. Through personalized employment coaching, training, and job placement, Pride helps individuals face employment barriers to realize their true potential and contribute to their communities. So on behalf of the City of Roseville and the City Council, I hereby proclaim this month of October 2021 National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and we recognize Pride Industries for their work in this space, and we encourage all residents to work together to advance the message that with a little bit of help, people with disabilities can do anything. So thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Thank you. That was really good. In fact, I don't even know if I need my notes. I could just read the proclamation. That was wonderful. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. So, Roseville City Council, thank you so much for this honor. It means a lot to the Pride family. I'm Jeff Dern, as Krista mentioned, President and CEO of Pride Industries. In 1988, Congress declared the month of October National Disability Employment Awareness Month to raise awareness of the employment needs and contributions of individuals with disabilities. A staggering 30 million people in our country today have disabilities and are of working age, and over 70% are not employed. Pride's workforce is evidence that people with disabilities, when given equal access and inclusion in the workplace, can do anything. Pride is the leading employer of people with disabilities in the country. Today, we're 6,000 team members strong nationwide. And of that, we have 60% with a disclosed disability. We're proudly headquartered in Roseville, and we are proof that inclusion works. Inclusion works. And people with disabilities can do anything. The Roseville community has always been supportive of Pride in our mission to create employment for people with disabilities. And we look forward to deepening and continuing that relationship with the Roseville community. So again, thank you for this recognition in honor of Pride, and also in recognition of the month of October, which is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Thank you very much.
And I will add that I know Kat Madru is planning an event on your campus, and you wanted for our council to come and attend, but with COVID, we're kind of improvising here. I know that you have your camera here because you want to be able to publicize this to your audience. So do you need anything else from us? Do you want a group shot while we're all here? We've done that before, so would you like to get a picture? Okay, Council, would you mind taking a picture real quick with them?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, all right, we'll come down for a quick picture.
Probably should have introduced our team. We have former Sheriff Ed Bonner. Thank you, Ed, for being here. Former CEO of Blue Diamond Almond Growers, Walt Payne. We have in the audience back here in the Giants mask, I might add, Alan McMillan, our Chief Information Officer. And we have Leah Burdick, who is our Chief Growth Officer, and Kat Madru, our Manager of PR. And Christian, behind the camera. Thanks, Christian, for being here.
You want us right here?
He wasn't bombing, he was just, that was where he told me he was.
Yes, can I have just reduce that space just a tad? Give me one sec. Yes, okay. Smile with your eyes. Cool. Just a few more. Great, thank you. Mask off. All right, 1, 2. Beautiful, thank you.
Nice smile.
You have to really watch where this is, because I like to put my legs in. You go, oh. Now I know where
So
it's
you can
at.
open it up, yeah.
Well, we're going to do just public comment in general.
To catch my knee on that planning commission all the time.
Open it up for public comment for
So if
this
you wonder what I'm saying,
presentation.
what-
And then,
what you really-
are there any phone calls? Yes, we have a phone call.
Okay, thank you for being flexible with that. We do have a phone call for public comment on this item, if you want to put the call through.
Good evening. You may make your comments now. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, you may make your comments.
Oh, I'm actually here just to listen in on a presentation for Pride Industries tonight.
Yes, we just made the presentation of the proclamation to Pride Industries.
Oh, so I guess I missed it. I was hoping to listen in on it.
Okay, yeah, you did just miss it, but you can see it on our website.
Okay, good. I will tune in and do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, right, that's it. Okay, we'll move on to public comment. Now is the time for anyone to call in or come to the podium for any item that is not on the agenda. The number to call in is 916-774-5353. Do we have anyone here tonight that would like to address the council? Good evening.
Keith Diederich, CEO of the Gathering Inn. I'm here to thank, well, first of all, thanks for the opportunity to speak. I was on vacation at the last council meeting when you guys voted for nothing, and I appreciate your support as well, Tom, for our organization. So I just came here to thank you.
Oh,
and I am definitely going to be under 3 minutes, so thank you very much for that support.
You're welcome. Yep. And that was for discretionary funding for your event.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment tonight? Good evening.
So I'm here to receive, I do believe, a proclamation for Untitled Chapter DAR for Constitution Week.
Yes, that was on the consent calendar, which is, it's almost approved. There, it's one of the next items on the
Oh,
agenda.
I'm sorry, I didn't get a, I should have one of these.
I mean, it's up to you.
Shall we pull it and
Present it.
do we need a motion
Yeah,
for
take it
that?
up.
Move to pull consent item 7.12.
Second.
Do we need to do a roll call or
7.2.
anything?
Oh,
You don't need a motion to pull anything from the
Okay.
agenda for consent. You can just
fitting
pull it.
Councilmember Mendoza, 7.12.
0.12, that's what that
A reminder of that.
I'm sorry, when he got his,
Well, you need yours too.
yes.
All right.
Thank you.
And tell me your name.
My name's Peg Winnie.
Okay. I've known you since I was probably about 3 years old.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Nice to see you, Miss Winnie. And you were here last year too.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for calling our attention to this. We had it on the consent calendar, but we're glad that you're here. Is it okay? I'll read it for you and you can make some comments. This is on behalf of the City Council. Starting Friday, it is Constitution Week, September 17th through the 23rd of 2021. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America is the guardian of liberties and embodies the principles, excuse me, of limited government as a republic dedicated to rule by law. The United States Constitution stands as a testament to the tenacity of Americans throughout history to maintain their liberties, freedoms, and inalienable rights, and it is fitting to accord official recognition to this magnificent document on its memorable anniversary and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. Public Law 915 guarantees this issuing of proclamation by the President of the United States designating September 17th through the 23rd of every year as Constitution Week. So I, Krista Bernasconi, the mayor of the city of Roseville, do hereby proclaim September 17th through the 23rd of 2021 as Constitution Week and encourage all citizens to reaffirm their ideals of the framers of the Constitution by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to all through the Constitution of the United States of America. The floor is yours.
Okay,
Thank you. Nice to see you.
I'd like to thank you for the proclamation. I've been working with a member of the DAR for the last 6 years, and I have done Constitution for the city of Roseville as well as Rockland and Lincoln and Loomis. So it's a great honor for you to give me a proclamation. We made up bags or kits as I call them, to give to the schools of Roseville for Constitution Week and other outlining areas. So we've had a very good turnout. On Friday, the 17th, the Gold Trail chapter is ringing the bells, which is called Bells Across America. And at that time, going across America, everyone will be ringing bells for Constitution, the Constitution. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. And I'll mention, too, we have Vice Mayor Hadashut will be out at Brown Elementary on Friday. They are recognizing Constitution Week. So thank you for that. And thank you for being here. Okay. I was at public comment. Do we have anyone else wants to come forward for public comment? Good evening.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Charlson. I want to thank the council for allowing me to speak to them. I just want to let you know I am a resident at the Gathering Inn. I've been there for 8 months, and I thank you, this county, for all the help that they give us in being homeless. It's amazing. But the concern I have is when I travel from the Gathering Inn through the easement to the Civic Center to catch the bus along the way of the Washington Avenue, where we're able to walk through the easement. Mm-hmm. The law is that the bikes are not supposed to be ridden through there, and they always do. And it's concerning me for safety of people, because they come down very fast from the hill, and at times, as I like to pick up garbage through there, that I'll be walking and I can't hear any bike behind me, and I'd cross over and you could get hit. Not only me, but somebody else. And what I was proposing is possibly doing something like they have on the bike trail, having one side for the walkers and one side for the bike riders, because I don't think you're going to be able to stop the bike riders from riding their bikes. You know, hopefully they'll slow down, but maybe have one side for the walkers, and the side for the walkers would be the side with the railing, because bikes, if they hit a railing, could possibly fall over the railing into traffic. And so I don't know, as the county is able to maybe do something along that line.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. You mean the underpass?
Yeah,
That's
the
what you're
underpass
referring
that
to.
goes
Okay.
from the Methodist hospital, the Methodist church, the underpass that goes from the walkway to the Civic Center that you catch to go over to that part of town.
Thank you for that. I know we have our Director of Parks, Recs, Libraries here, I think, who's taking notes on that. So we appreciate your comment.
And I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Mayor, and I appreciate all that I've been served for as in the home.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else tonight that would like to make a public comment on any item that's not on the agenda? I know we've got a handful of students. It's been a while since we've seen students. When they're here. Okay. Not too late to change your mind. I will see if we have any phone calls this evening. We have 0 phone calls. All right. We do public comment at the end of the meeting, too, if something comes up and you have a question. So if there's nothing else, I'll close public comment, and we'll move into the consent calendar.
All matters on the consent calendar are considered to be routine in nature and will be passed by one motion. There will be no discussion of consent calendar items unless a member of the City Council, staff, or the public request an item be removed. Staff has requested item 7.14 be dropped from the consent calendar to be relisted on October 6th. Other than that, if I could have a motion to approve the consent calendar minus 7.4 and minus 7.12, which was the proclamation that we just presented separately. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Vice Mayor Hadashut?
Yes.
Councilmember Alvord?
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Mendonça?
Yes.
And Mayor Bernasconi.
Yes, thank you. Move on to item 8.1, baseline at Sierra Vista Community Facilities District Number 1, Series 2021 bond issuance.
Yes. Good evening. Mayor Berlusconi and council members. My name is Dennis Kauffman, Assistant City Manager and Chief Financial Officer. This item is a staff recommendation to approve the issuance of bonds for the baseline at Sierra Vista Community Facilities District Number 1. For background, the purpose of setting up a CFD is to create a land-secured financing tool to fund acquisition and construction of authorized facilities and services. The baseline at Sierra Vista CFD Number 1 was formed last year in November of 2020. The recommended bond issue is the first series of bonds contemplated for this district. The maximum amount of bonds to be issued for Series 2021 is $9 million, and the maximum debt authorized for improvement area number 1 within this CFD is $40 million. The authorized facilities that can be financed with the bonds are listed on this slide and include transportation improvements, including Vista Grande Boulevard, Market Street, and Fitterment Road, as well as utility infrastructure and park and open space improvements. This map on the next slide reflects the CFD boundary and improvement area number 1, which is the cross-hatched area. The development is between Fitterment Road on the east, Baseline Road on the south, and Market Street on the west. So tonight's the staff recommendation is to approve the resolution authorizing the issuance of bonds for the baseline at Sierra Vista CFD Number 1 and approving the related actions and documents, including the form of the preliminary official statement, which is the document that's used for marketing the bonds. And this concludes my presentation. I'm available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does the council have any questions of Dennis?
A quick clarification, this is this includes the construction on Market Street connecting into Baseline so that there's actually a north-south passageway through that neighborhood.
Correct.
Out. Thank you.
Any other questions of Dennis?
No.
Okay. Open up to public comment. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to address this item? Good evening.
Mayor Berlusconi, Nick Alexander, and council, pardon me. Nick Alexander, 1700 Eureka Road on behalf of DF Properties. We want to thank staff for assisting us in forming this district. It's going to be a key piece of infrastructure. We're currently under construction now, and we're advancing funds to do that. And selling these bonds will allow us to reimburse ourselves. And we look forward to your approval. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else here tonight? The phone number to call in is 916-774-5353. Do we have anyone who's called in? Okay, we don't have any calls. Does the council have any other questions, comments before we take action?
No.
Okay, motion.
Motion is to adopt Resolution 21-403, authorizing the issuance of special tax bonds for and behalf of Improvement Area Number 1 of the City of Roseville baseline at Sierra Vista Community Facilities District Number 1, Public Facilities, approving and directing the execution of a fiscal agent agreement, bond purchase agreement, and acquisition agreement, approving the form of preliminary official statement, approving sale of such bonds, and approving all other related documents and actions. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Vice Mayor Haudashelt?
Yes.
Councilmember Alvord?
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Mendonça?
Yes.
Mayor Berlusconi?
Yes, thank you. Our next item is 9.1, Northwest Landscaping and Lighting District Ballot Initiative. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Berlusconi and members of the council. I'm Jill Geller, your Parks, Recreation, and Libraries Director. With me tonight is Tara G., Park Planning and Development Superintendent, and it's our pleasure to provide information to the council and to the public tonight about a ballot initiative to increase assessments in the Northwest Lighting and Landscape District. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Tara to provide this presentation.
Thanks, Jill. Good evening, Mayor and council members. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. The Northwest Lighting and Landscape District is depicted on this map. The green areas are considered Zone A in the district, and the blue areas are considered Zone B. The unhighlighted areas are not included in this district. In general, the Northwest Lighting and Landscape District is along Baseline, Foothills, just north of Wood Creek Golf Course, and just east of Elliott Park. The Northwest Lighting and Landscape District was formed in 1989. It is the largest and oldest district within the city, more than 30 years old. Driving through this area, one can see that the landscaping has reached its end of life, with many plants dead, dying, or missing. In these same areas, the irrigation is also non-functioning. The assessment was set in 1989 at $100 per home per year with no inflationary factor. However, the cost of services has drastically increased in the past 30 years, resulting in a shortage of funding to maintain the district at a similar level in other areas of the city. As many of us has experienced, either personally or in business, utility costs, expenses for staff and contracted services, in particular prevailing wage and minimum wage, and the cost of materials and supplies are quite different today than they were in 1989. This chart provides some examples of costs for common items in 1989 as compared to today. We can be sure that costs will continue to rise. For example, we know minimum wage will increase to $15 an hour in 2022. It's clear to see that items today cost between 3 and 4 times more than they did in 1989, yet the dollars the city has to maintain this district have remained the same. The only option we have is to live within our means. So what have we done to do so? We have prioritized repairs based on safety rather than aesthetics, and that prioritization includes fencing, irrigation, and planting. Irrigation repairs are based not only on safety issues, but also funding availability. Non-safety related repairs are cut, capped, switched off, or not done at all. Fertilizing our turf has been adjusted from 2 times per year to once. Spraying of weeds in planter beds have been adjusted from 6 to 8 times a year to just 4 times a year. We have also been able to do minimal replacement of dead plants, shrubs, and trees. We have performed minimal fence repairs. We've also provided minimal bark replenishment, and in some areas, not at all, resulting in dirt. This year, uncontrollable costs, such as utilities and labor, resulted in more than $20,000 of increased expenses. This means $20,000 less to spend on plants, irrigation, fence repairs than the prior year. Each year, this issue compounds, and just like a home budget, we have to cut back on things that we can control in order to absorb things that we can't control. If nothing changes, the problem will only get worse. So why are we talking about this now? It's because there's no way for us to improve conditions without additional funding. We continue to receive resident concerns about the landscaping in this area. And as mentioned earlier, much of the landscaping and irrigation have aged to the point where plants are dying and the irrigation is non-functional. The proposed increase is $160 per home per year for Zone A, or $13.33 a month. In Zone B, property owners pay a little bit more, about $147 per home per year, and the proposed increase is about $112 per home per year, or an adjustment of $9.33 a month. In both zones, this equals a maximum assessment total of $260 per home per year on average when considering what is being paid today. Generally speaking, all assessments have a maximum tax. This means that the maximum tax amount could be assessed. That said, our best practices assess and budget for up to 80% of that maximum tax. This allows us to make adjustments should something unusual or unanticipated happens. The ballot would also include an inflationary factor of 3 to 4% to help us keep up with the real costs year after year. It's important to note that these property owners were previously paying an annual assessment to pay off a bond that provided revenues for construction of the original infrastructure in this district. This includes streets, sewer, water lines, and more. That bond was paid off last year, and homeowners no longer pay that amount. That expense averaged about $343 per home per year. So even with the additional assessment we're currently proposing, property owners will be paying less than they paid in 2020. Let's look at this in a different way. The district was formed in 1989 without an inflationary factor. This gold line on the graph shows how assessments would have been increased if we had a 3% from the start. The blue line represents where we are today. If a 3% inflationary factor had been applied from the beginning, the cost per home per year would have been $265 in 2022. So you see the green star represents what we are proposing, $260, which is a teeny bit less than what it would have been if with the 3% factor. We're often asked why this area doesn't look like the other areas. So let's look at what other residents are paying. In the West Roseville area, West Park and Fitment, they're paying between $343 and $434 a year per parcel. And in the East area, Stone Ridge and Stone Point, homeowners are paying between $357 and $445 per year per parcel. So what is it currently looking like, and what is the future potential should this ballot pass? This is a picture of Baseline just before Long Meadow, and you can see on the future potential that we have a bark mulch, healthy shrubs, and ground cover using water-conserving plant material. This is Baseline at Prospect Point. Working irrigation does wonders to keep the to keep the ground cover and shrubs in a healthy condition. And it also, this future potential shows a lack of weeds. This next current shot is Wood Creek Oaks looking towards Pleasant Grove. And for context, it's across the street from the high school, Wood Creek High School. And so with a potential assessment, we would ensure that we could have green carpet with water-conserving plant material and healthy trees. In an outreach conducted prior to COVID in late 2019 and 2020, residents provided input on key enhancement areas, and this is the result of that input. So streetscapes, trees, fencing, and neighborhood entryways ended up being the top 4 priorities for this area. Focus on improvements would be a 5 or more year plan. In addition to improvements, the maintenance of service levels will improve from the current core standard to a standard similar to other areas within the city. We have conducted several outreach virtual meetings. We had one on August 31st. We had one just yesterday evening, and we have one more coming up on September 30th. These are information meetings, and we hope that, and we have recorded those and posted them on the city's webpage. So for those who couldn't make any of the 3 meetings, there's an opportunity to go on the website and review the recordings and the information provided. The information provided today is similar to what was provided to the public. I would encourage, if you had a chance, to watch them. Even though the sessions are the same, the questions are different. So if people do have some questions, they can come online, and perhaps their question is answered through that venue. I did mention the website. We also have FAQs at www.roseville.ca.us/myneighborhood. We encourage residents to share this information with their neighbors, email us with questions or comments, and encourage attendance to the next and final meeting on September 30th. Once people have signed up through this website, a link to the virtual meeting will be provided. After the public meetings, information meetings are completed, our next steps include mailing the bond or ballot on October 1st. It's important to keep in mind that this is not tied to a general election. The ballot requires residents to mail in their vote. Approval of a simple majority is 50% plus 1 of those ballots mailed in that indicate support. The measure will pass. Conversely, Non-support of 50% plus one of the ballots mailed in means the proposal does not pass. Ballots are due no later than November 17th. All mail-in ballots are received by the city clerk's office, and that same evening, the city council will review the results at the meeting. This is a public meeting, so everybody wanting to attend is welcome unless CDC guidelines change. And in that case, you can certainly watch the meeting online. So the recommended action tonight is to adopt the resolutions attached to the staff report related to the Northwest Lighting and Landscape District ballot initiative. This concludes our presentation, and we stand ready to answer any of your questions.
Thank you so much, Tara. Does council have questions for staff?
Yeah, I do. In addition to electronic outreach, is there mail outreach?
There is. We have sent out postcards before the first workshop, and then we will also be sending out information items with the ballot.
So the first workshop was in February?
It was in August 31st.
Oh, I was thinking, okay, so you sent the postcards out then,
Right.
not back in 2019.
Right. Well, it's important to notice we started this before COVID, and then when COVID occurred, we put it on hold, and
Right.
now we're picking this back up again.
Okay, I mean, the goal is not everyone is paying attention at the same time.
Right.
So repetition
Right.
results in folks understanding what's going on, so. All right, that was my only question.
Any other questions?
You know, I have one. When did you said they had a funding that was on their parcels for many years. When did that end?
That ended in, Dennis, 2020, right? So just this last year.
Recently, okay.
Yeah.
So that, and I thought you did a really good presentation showing it was like $300, 300 and something that was cost. And even with this, it's going to be less, but they'll get more with the new landscape and really a vast improvement in their area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next questions?
I have comments, not questions.
Go ahead with your comments.
So when I first looked at this, I used to live in the neighborhood around Foothill and Pleasant Grove, and I thought my neighborhood was out of the zone, but I realize now where my house was, it actually is in the zone. It got kind of split. And I tell you, that area is not pretty out there, and it's not really that old either. And I've had neighbors come visit our house out in West Park on the western side, and one of the common comments is, wow, everything's so pretty out here. And it's because of this issue. And I remember attending a meeting when you guys held it at the Riley Library, and you were first talking about this with the community, and I was just watching neighbors. There's a lot of resistance at first, but as they were looking and asking questions, it seemed like it was very supportive. And I know our goal tonight is not to approve, the actual LLD. It's just to put it on the ballot for them to vote. I think this is very reasonable. I think the fees are reasonable. And if I live there, still, absolutely, I would vote for it because it's an eyesore in some areas. And it's just sad because these are wonderful neighborhoods. We just can't keep up. And obviously we can't. We can only do what's in our means in the budget for those areas. But I'm really glad that we're bringing this forward, and hopefully this neighborhood will vote to improve their looks. I think it really helps the whole city, and those are some key areas of our city.
Anything else? This is a great opportunity to educate the public as well, too, that why some neighborhoods look the way they do and why others seem to get more resources. And at the end of the day, it's because the residents end up paying for them. And I think it's probably great education for our students to know, why certain streets look how they do. So this is really exciting. I remember when this was the edge of town. My question, I forgot my question. So I'll open it up to public comment, and then we'll come back maybe before we have a... is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak to this item? Okay. Any phone calls? No phone calls? Okay. I remember my question. Thank you. Do you remember approximately how many LLDs there are in the city? And are there others that are going to be coming up for this
Yeah, originally there are 4 LLDs, when you don't count Historic and Riverside and Old Town, because those are newer. So for North Central, Olympus, Northwest, and there's one more. You're testing me on that. But those were originally how we formed them. Then there was a law that came about that we couldn't increase rates until we had a majority vote. And so we switched to Community Facilities District for services, which then included inflationary factors. So that's how it.
And are the others going to be coming up for needing increases?
Not that we know of. Now, North Central has already, maybe 10, 15 years ago, had gone through this, and it passed. So did Olympus. So those have been doing okay with the increase.
Okay. Well, I think this is exciting for the neighborhood. Before we have a motion, is there anything else the council would like to? Okay. All right.
I do have one. So, wasn't around in '89, almost around. But there's this in Zone B. There are these weird little cutouts.
Yeah.
And one's close to a county piece of property, the fairgrounds. But it's across from the school. What is that? What is that?
Zone B, they're all residential units, and just Zone B came in after the original formation, so that's why you see the different zones.
Okay, because that one looks like it's right by the fairgrounds, right? Okay. All right, thank you. That was my question. And I agree with my colleagues that once this is improved, it also improves the value, the property value, and I know in your old neighborhood, they got out and actually did the work, didn't they? They actually did some streetscape in cooperation with the city. So, no other comments.
Okay. The motion is to adopt resolution number 21-404, initiating proceedings to levy proposed new or increased assessments for Northwest Roseville Specific Plan Landscaping and Lighting District for fiscal year 2022 to 2023, and ordering the engineer to prepare and file an engineer's report in accordance with Article 4 of Chapter 1 of said Act, and adopt resolution number 21-405, declaring its intention to ballot property owners for proposed new or increased assessments for the Northwest Roseville Specific Plan, Landscaping and Lighting District, fiscal year 2022-2023, setting a time and place for a public hearing and authorizing staff to proceed with the balloting procedures, and adopt resolution number 21-406, preliminary approval of the engineer's levy report regarding proposed new or increased assessments for fiscal year 2022-2023 for the Northwest Roseville Specific Plan, Landscaping and Lighting District. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Vice Mayor Haddashelt?
Yes.
Councilmember Alvord?
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Mendonça?
Yes.
Mayor Bernasconi?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you both. Next up, we have an update from our electric department, item 10.1, with our Roseville Electric Director, Michelle Bertolino.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Michelle Bertolino, your Electric Utility Director. So as I was putting this together last week, it took me a bit of time to decide what to talk to you about because we have so many things going on in the utility. Everything is going really, really well. We are probably our biggest challenge right now, other than the huge projects and initiatives we have going on, is filling positions just like every other city department. So first, I wanted to talk about the California Emergency Generation project at the Roseville Energy Park. As you well know, we received a request from the California Department of Water Resources to locate, they asked us if they could locate two 30-megawatt power plants adjacent to the REP, and the City Council has authorized, I believe, 5 different agreements for this project. And believe it or not, the first 2 agreements, or the first 2 items, were only approved on August 16th. And today is September 15th. And one of the units was actually fired up today, which is fascinating. So in less than a month, the units have been located and hooked up to gas and recycled water, and they're going through testing. They are set to be operational when needed during an emergency on the electrical grid in California starting this Friday. We actually think they'll be ready tomorrow if they aren't ready already. In return for this, the city will receive $9.15 million. In addition, we'll receive reimbursement for all of our costs incurred to date on installing the units. Although we didn't install them, we supported some of the work of many contractors. And then we'll receive the $9.15 million. The agreement with the state ends in December of 2023, and at that time, the state will either remove everything and return the site back to what it was before, which was brownfield, just like what's around it right there in that picture, or the city will have the option at that time to purchase the units if we choose to do that. I will just let you know and let everybody know that the staff within the city, both in the utility and everywhere else, the city attorney's office provided such great support for us, as well as the fire department and the police department and EU staff, and I'm probably missing some folks, city clerk's office. But this was an amazing accomplishment. I met with one of the executives from the Department of Water Resources on Monday, and we toured the site and looked at everything that was happening, and he probably thanked me at least a dozen times. He really couldn't believe that a city the size of Roseville, which we're considered a medium city, could get so much done in such little time, and that our staff was just so helpful and so supportive and did everything just right for this initiative. And so this helps the state of California and the residents around Roseville as well as the residents of Roseville. So it's a great project. The next item that I'm very happy to talk about is our new dispatch center. So you'll see a picture here. The picture in the circle is our old dispatch center, which had a wall of paper taped together with what I call little thumbtacks that showed our system, our distribution system throughout Roseville. And you can see, I think it's Marty there on the ladder, putting thumbtacks in, and it tells you the status of various parts of our system. Very old school. They actually ran out of space. I remember when I started at Roseville 20 years ago, I thought they were running out of space then, and they didn't know where they were going to go with the paper. So we finally decided we maybe should go into the 20th or 21st century with a major technology upgrade, and this is a very impressive system. It works well with our outage management system and our outage notification system that our customers can now see. It really provides us with much greater visibility, and it will allow us to even increase our technological abilities with our system. We don't, as you know, we don't have a lot of outages now, and even the outages we do have are very short. But this will help us even more do what we need to do going forward. And a fly just hit me in the forehead. Okay, that's never happened. And the workstations are very, very ergonomic. Our dispatchers work long hours and are sometimes there well into the night and into the morning, and so this will help them work more ergonomically. So the next initiative that's going on is our rate proposal, and this is our first rate proposal since 2014, so it's been 7 years. It applies to all customer classes. We began our customer outreach last month, and we hosted 3 virtual workshops. We also have participated in many public forums, including Arcona, the Chamber of Commerce, as well as Sun City. We will be presenting the proposal to the Roseville Public Utilities Commission this month, and there's been strong support from our customers. We also met with some of our large electric user customers, strong support from our customers. A lot of the questions we get in the meetings are not about the rates at all, but about, are we going to have more community solar projects? Is development paying its own way? People want to make sure that development isn't causing the rate increases, which is absolutely true. They are not. Development pays its own way. So not really many questions or interest in the rates themselves. We get a lot of positive comments about our reliability and some questions about outages in surrounding communities during the public safety power shutoffs or wildfire incidents, but very strong support. We haven't had anybody, I'll knock on wood, not agree with what we're proposing for January of 2022. We'll be coming back to the council either later in October or early November with the proposal after we present it to the Roseville Public Utilities Commission. So the next initiative is our meter upgrade project, or our advanced metering infrastructure. This is a very important, very critical, very high priority project for the city. As you know, it's been going on for a while. We've had some challenges with it. Some of our biggest challenges have to do with system integration and testing. So it's how all the different systems, how the utility billing system talks to our enterprise asset management system, and then how it talks to the meters. It's become much more complicated than anybody anticipated. We need to make sure before we put the meters into the homes and businesses that the system works. There have been other utilities that came before us with this, and they didn't get it right, and bills went out that were either bills didn't go out or bills went out that were very, very wrong or incorrect, and it took those utilities quite a number of years to fix what had happened. And so we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So we're doing everything we can to be very, very careful. For those reasons, as well as a few others, the meter deployment has been delayed. What we're doing right now is a comprehensive schedule overview, and we'll be coming back to the council later this year with recommendations and our schedule, an updated schedule on what we're looking at going forward. And again, this is the largest technology-related project that the city has ever taken on. So it is a huge lift for us, but I know it will be very successful. I know it will be very proud of it once we get it done. But it's going to be all hands on deck and probably more as we move forward with this project. So the last initiative I'll talk about is 116 South Grant Street, which is the building we purchased almost a year and a half or almost 2 years ago. We started construction. Council approved the construction agreement last month. The construction renovation work started this week. It started on Monday, I believe. And so you'll start seeing some equipment and supplies and some activity over there. We're doing the first and second floor initially, the part of the first floor that the post office isn't occupying. And we'll have our utility billing will move out of the Civic Center over there. We'll have customer service as well as managers' offices, and we'll have a demonstration area for utility technology as well as other utility items. So it'll be kind of a partner to the Utility Exploration Center that's out at Mahaney. We are targeting we had planned to have occupancy happen over the flip week this year, but it's looking more like January for January of 2022. The third and fourth floor we'll start planning for. Our plan was to get the first 2 floors done, and then we'll look at the third and fourth floor. And I know there's a citywide initiative that's looking at some planning, space planning for all city buildings downtown, and so we'll be part of that as we look at the third and fourth floors. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Does the council have any questions of Michelle? Start with Councilmember Alvord.
On the emergency generators that are up there, I drive by that multiple times a day, and it has been amazing. I saw when they first pulled them in on trucks, and just kind of watching the setup. It really has been, every time I go by, it's like, wow, that's different. It's very impressive. I've never seen anything go up that fast. You said that the second one will be firing up like tomorrow, you think?
It may have fired up today. My last update was at 2 o'clock
At
this
what
afternoon.
point would they be operational and actually operating, or could potentially be operating, full-blown, putting energy into the grid and stuff?
That will depend on when the state asks us. We expect it will be between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. during hot days, because there has to be a grid emergency declared for them to run those units.
What date, though? I mean, what date?
We don't know. We don't know when there's going to be a grid emergency. Yeah, the only thing we know now is the testing.
Okay.
But they will not be run unless there's a grid emergency declared by the state or the ISO.
Do you know when they'd be eligible to be running? That's my question. Is
Friday.
Okay, so this week,
maybe tomorrow.
They're ready to go whenever. Okay, awesome. That's what I was. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Very, very impressive. And the new dispatch center. Yeah, I appreciate the old and new picture because that is sort of embarrassing actually for such a great utility.
We were saving money.
And then the other thing, I know the rate proposal hasn't come before us, but we have seen some preliminary figures, and it is so amazing that our city, out of all the cities around here, we still, even with this rate thing, we still are going to have some of the lowest rates in the state. And that's, I know as a resident, I love that. As a council member, it's so nice to not have PG&E to have to deal with. What a headache. Your team is just awesome. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you so much. Very impressive.
Vice Mayor Hadashout?
Yeah, so over the weekend, anybody, or as it was being installed, anybody?
Not that I
Scott
am
called
aware.
in and said, hey, what's that noise over there, right? Is that what you did? No.
We did a tremendous amount of outreach to the neighborhoods around the construction area, and we were on social media. We sent out flyers, and I think we really were very, very transparent and very upfront about the potential for noise. And so there's really no surprises.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who are home watching, I mean, the amount of public outreach and communication that the city does for things is amazing. And I think that's why a lot of times, there's a high degree of contentment and satisfaction because they know about it. They know they have the ability to ask questions and get answers. I encourage people to actually reach out to staff because sometimes they get the answer before I can forward the email on. So kudos on that. On the third and fourth floor, probably is really premature, but I know that there were a couple of private sector folks that were interested in that. Any idea when we might be able to open? Or if there will be private sector in addition to the public sector.
We're going to be doing an evaluation of our space needs for all of downtown. So
very high demand building there. So yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Presentation, exciting times for our utility. So thank you for your presentation.
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing. That shows you just what's going on, and especially during this. Our high temperatures, we're going to be able to help here in California, help our residents, but help California to maintain some of its needs, electric needs. And it's a small amount, but every little bit helps.
Yep.
Thank you. I'll open up to public comment. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to comment on this item? And we do have one phone call. The number is 916-774-5353. We'll take the first call.
Good evening. You may make your comments now.
Hello, my name is Lemuel Garrett, resident Roseville. I am calling to ask Michelle regarding the electric project, specifically the large tech buildup, as to whether or not we've done any work in preparation for things like ransomware that has been targeting me and the utilities and other technology components for cities and states and governments in general. That's one. And two, with what seems to be an increase in employees, I'm wondering if there's any consideration of workforce housing or things like that as we go into the downtown area to try and figure out how to reduce the amount of traffic that goes there.
Okay, so the first question, the first question was about cybersecurity and what we're doing. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry, I had trouble hearing you. Yes, so we do quite a bit with cybersecurity, both as part of the city's cybersecurity efforts, as well as we're required under federal law. Electric utilities is the only industry right now that actually has federal laws about both cyber and physical securities that we have to follow according to federal law. So we're doing all of the things and everything we can possibly do to maintain security. It's hugely, hugely important to us. The second question, was it about housing downtown?
It was.
Correct. If I heard you correctly, I thought you were saying that there is an increase in employees that you're bringing on and that you're targeting most of those in the downtown Roseville area. So the question was, with regards to workforce housing for those employees, whether or not there's any kind of project looking at reducing the overall traffic and or commute going into downtown by making sure that we have housing available for city employees at whatever rates that are being paid.
Hi, Mayor. If it's okay, I'll take that part of the question.
Do you want to answer it?
I can quickly,
Okay.
sure. Yes, Mr. Garrett, this is Dom, City Manager. So might be a little bit of confusion on the space planning is about the need going into the future over the next 10 to 15 years for the 15 departments within the city. As we look at the Civic Center and we look at 116 Grant and we look at 316 on Vernon Street, as well as 311 our Civic Center, and what the needs will be in the future and how much space or capacity is left. And so as we plan for that, that'll tell us how much we have that we could potentially partner with the private sector to share some of that space, as we did with our annex across the street with Sierra College. And so we're looking at opportunities for that as well. In regard to workforce housing, absolutely, yes. We have a map that shows some of the sites that are in the downtown that are planned for workforce housing, in addition to the ones that we currently have. And we're looking for new opportunities to engage in that really at every corner. So appreciate your question.
Thank you. Any other calls? Okay. All right, and is there anyone else here tonight that would like to comment on this item? Okay, it's information only, so we appreciate your information. The next item is 11.1, Community Facilities District Number 3, Annexation Number 26, Baseline at Sierra Vista, Annexation of Territory. I'll open up the public hearing, and we'll hear from our Chief Financial Officer, Dennis Kauffman.
Good evening again, Mayor and council members. This item is a public hearing for the for the final step in this process to annex Baseline at Sierra Vista into the city's Community Facilities District Number 3. On August 4th, the City Council approved the resolution of intent to annex territory into CFD Number 3, which is municipal services. The annexation into CFD Number 3 is a development agreement requirement to fund municipal services so that new development pays for itself. Tonight is the public hearing, which is the final step. The municipal services funded by CFD Number 3 includes parks, recreation and library services, as well as police and fire. This map shows the area being annexed into CFD Number 3. Its borders are between Market Street on the east, Fitiment Road on the west, and Baseline Road on the southern border of the annexation area. And so the staff recommendation tonight is to approve the resolution of annexation into Community Facilities District Number 3, Baseline at Sierra Vista. Thank you. I'm available to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Does the council have any questions of Dennis?
No questions.
No. Okay, I'll open it up to public comment. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to address this item?
Mayor Berlusconi, members of the City Council, Nick Alexander, 1700 Eureka Road, on behalf of DF Properties. As evidenced by our signature on the ballot, we're in agreement with the staff report with regard to annexation for municipal services. And I believe we have a inflation adjustment factor in this, right? So anyway, we look forward to your approval.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we'll take phone calls. We don't have any phone calls. All right, so with that, I'll close public comment and ask our clerk to announce the ballot results.
Number of votes eligible was 154 votes. Number of yes votes, 154. There were no votes in opposition. So the ballot proceedings passed unanimously.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Would you like a motion to approve?
I'll close public hearing and we'll ask for a motion.
That is to adopt resolution number 21-404, initiating proceedings to levy proposed new or increased assessments for Northwest Roseville Specific Plan, Landscaping and Lighting District for fiscal year 2022-2023.
I think that's the wrong one.
Is it?
Resolution number is different.
Oh, forgive me. That's to adopt. Resolution number 21-396, a resolution of annexation of territory to Community Facilities District, authorizing the levy of special tax and submitting levy of tax to qualified electors, and adopt Resolution 21-397, A resolution declaring results of special annexation election, determining validity of prior proceedings, and directing recording of amended notice of special tax lien. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Vice Mayor Haudashelt?
Yes.
Councilmember Alvord?
Yes.
Councilmember Acucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Mendonça?
Yes.
And Mayor Bernasconi?
Yes, thank you. Okay, and our last item for this evening is another public hearing. It's item 11.2, Community Development Block Grant 2020 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. I'm Ryan DeVore, Assistant City Manager, and I'm here with Christine Fales, a housing analyst with the Housing Division. And she's going to provide a presentation on the annual report for our Community Development Block Grant Program, which is required to continue receiving federal funds from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. So I'll pass it over to Christine.
Thank you, Ryan. Good evening, Mayor Bernasconi and council members. I'm Christine Fales, Housing Analyst in the Economic Development Department. Tonight, we're holding a public hearing to present the Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, or CAPER, which is our annual report for the Community Development Block Grant Program. In 2020, CDBG funds provided grants of approximately $106,000 to 7 community-based organizations who assisted over 1,400 households and individuals. The public service programs included case management and mental health services, trauma and abuse recovery support services, hot meals and grocery delivery, as well as emergency overnight shelter for the homeless. The next few slides will highlight the public facilities projects completed in the 2020 program year. CDBG funds in the amount of $864,000 contributed to the 65 affordable rental units at Main Street Plaza in historic Old Town. These units are now fully occupied. Additionally, another project on Main Street included the installation of solar panels for AMI's 319 Main Street rental property to reduce utility costs for the residents. The Volunteers of America Home Start program converted a multi-purpose room into a community kitchen to better serve the families living in the emergency shelter units. The before and after photos above highlight the now well-utilized space. The Gathering Inn completed a project to renovate their deteriorating bathroom and shower facilities and also included ADA upgrades. In terms of housing accomplishments, the owner-occupied housing rehabilitation program assisted 3 low-income households with housing rehabilitation. Additionally, the Lazarus Project's home on Grove Street was rehabilitated with necessary health and safety repairs. At capacity, this permanent supportive housing unit can house up to 6 formerly homeless women. These housing programs not only assist lower-income residents, but also improve the housing stock and sustainability of the city's neighborhoods. CDBG CV funds are CDBG grant funds to be used specifically for preventing, preparing for, and responding to the coronavirus. The city received $1.2 million in this particular funding. During the 2020 program year, approximately $30,000 helped support a second shelter site for the Gathering Inn during the height of the pandemic. $24,000 was awarded to Placer County to help support their Project Room Key program for a 3-month period. Lastly, the COVID-19 Response Small Business Assistance Program has provided roughly $500,000 towards short-term emergency assistance to 23 small businesses affected by the coronavirus pandemic, with a focus on job retention for low and moderate income persons and microenterprise businesses. Council has approved $497,000 in CV funds, which will be expended this fiscal year. We plan to release another NOFA in December for the remaining funds, which must be spent by 2025. In conclusion, staff requests that Council receive public comment on this item and recommends that a resolution be adopted to approve the city's 2020 CAPER and authorize it for submittal to the Department of Housing and Urban Development. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you for the information and the presentation. Does the council have any questions of Christine?
I just have a comment. Boy, those pictures, those before and after pictures, they just tell I mean, they don't even do justice. It's just amazing how far that money was able to go.
Yes.
Especially with the price of goods and everything going up, you know, during that same time period, lumber and many of those were construction-oriented, you know, projects. So the fact that they were able to optimize those dollars and get the results they did, that's nothing short of fantastic. So that's great. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, Tracy.
Any other comments?
Have you presented to us before? Welcome. Thank you. Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Had I known that was going to be your first time, I would have thought of some real doozy question, but I don't have any, so sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll open up to public comment. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to speak to this item? Yes, please come to the podium.
Again, my name is Cheryl Charleston, and I want to thank you all for approving these funds to go to this, the homeless community and also for mental health.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thanks for your comment.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we'll take any phone calls. There is a bit of a delay, but we don't have any phone calls. The number to call in 916-774-5353. Oh, I think we do have one now. Okay, wrong number. All right, I will close the public hearing, and if the council doesn't have any further deliberation, can we ask our clerk to please read the motion?
Adopt resolution number 21-399, approving the 2020 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, also known as CAPER, and authorizing the city manager or his designee to submit the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG 2020 CAPER, to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Vice Mayor Haddishelt?
Yes.
Councilmember Alvord?
Yes.
Councilmember Rakucci?
Yes.
Councilmember Mendonça?
Yes.
Mayor Bernasconi?
Yes, thank you. And that concludes our action items. We'll have our last public comment. We'll take phone calls at 916-774-5353 on any item that's not on the agenda. And is there anyone here tonight that would like to ask a question? I mean, make a public comment?
Extra
Ask a
community
question?
service hours, right? Extra community, yeah.
No questions, no burning questions? Everyone's good?
Is the electric bill? Okay.
Okay, if we don't have any public comment, and we don't have any phone calls, I'll close public comment, and we'll just move into staff and council reports. Do our city attorney or city manager have any items for us?
No further staff reports, Mayor.
Nothing for me.
Okay, thank you. We'll start, Councilmember Rakucci, anything to note?
Went to a few water and electric meetings and flood and water conservation meeting. And I would just say that we're looking forward to doing some more mapping in the future. It won't happen until probably more like 2022 of FEMA, but out more like where Omaruso Ranch is and West Roseville and in the county in that way, so that we'll know what flood levels they are in those streams out there. So that'll be information that we don't have.
Thank you. Councilmember Mendonça?
I don't have any updates from any of my council assignments, but I wanted to put out to the community that this coming Saturday, the 17th, we are doing a park dedication over at Harry Crabb Park near Stone Ridge, and there will be community events throughout the day, and the neighborhood association is providing ice cream and food and all kinds of goodies. I know they'll have games and things for the kids, so it's going to be a nice weekend in the 80s, which will be a great day to be out in the park. So if you're in the area and want to stop by, I would encourage you. It's a beautiful park, and definitely a tribute to one of the great people that contributed so much to this community. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. 10 a.m.
10 a.m.,
Crab
that's right.
Park. Vice Mayor Haddishelt?
Yeah, today I participated in the Capitol Quarters Joint Powers Authority. That's part of the assignment related to the Placer County Transportation Planning Agency. And one of the action items near and dear to the Roseville was the approval to pursue additional almost $89 million in funding for the third track. The third track would increase the number of passenger rail trips from historic Old Town Roseville to Sacramento. So that's a quick update.
Thank you. Councilmember Alvord?
Yeah, last Saturday we had a dedication of Pistachio Park, which is a citywide park in western Roseville. It's right near the West Park High School, and it was phase one. It's actually a very large park. There's a lot more to come, including the Fitment House in phase two. We're kind of excited about that. Phase one has mostly ball fields that the high school uses as joint use type park. I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming in phase two, but it was kind of a neat turnout, and those who came got a T-shirt and pistachios, and we did a little treasure hunt. And I came last night to this chamber, and the Grants Advisory Committee was getting feedback from the recipients. A lot of nonprofits had come in, and they were giving reports on what they did with the money that they were granted. And it was very impressive, some very moving stories about the nonprofits in our community and just the way they're able to take grant money and do some very incredible, impactful things in our community. And so I wanted to thank the Grants Advisory Commissioners who go through the applications and they score and try to figure out where the money is best used and which by which nonprofits. Not everybody gets money, not everybody gets the amount they want, but it is just impressive. I just feel so proud of the city to have so many wonderful nonprofits that are doing so many fantastic things for people that need the help. Reaching out to seniors, helping people that are homeless, helping kids, being a resource for people that are in different abusive situations, counseling, suicide prevention, so many wonderful, neat things that just make our community a better place to live. So thank you again for those commissioners and for those organizations. And then the last thing I want to mention is, so I live in West Park, west of Fitment. There's several big communities out there, lots and lots of people, and not a single retail store out there. Well, next week, there's a coffee shop called Mojo's that's supposed to open, and we are super thrilled. So I just thought I would mention that the very first retail west of Fitment is about to open, and we're super excited. So I thought it was worth at least a mention, and we appreciate the developer that is bringing that. And then there's another restaurant that's going to follow that in a few months, and then several other little things. So we're just real excited that we're finally not having to drive all the way across town for everything. So.
Thank you. Just two things I wanted to remind the community about is tomorrow our fallen hero and Roseville native, Sergeant Nicole G., her procession will take place tomorrow, starting from the Sacramento airport at 12:45 and lining the streets to basically Greenback Lane from I-5 and 80. So I just wanted to ask for extra patience for those that are in the area tomorrow, as well as on Saturday. There will be a public service at Bayside Adventure starting at 11 a.m. and traffic's expected to be really heavy. So if you plan to go, I would say just go early and be really patient while we honor the service that she gave. I don't have any other comments tonight, so unless anyone has anything else to add in, I'll adjourn the meeting, and we'll see you back here the first Wednesday in October at 6 p.m. Thank you to our students for being here tonight, too, and we'll be up here if you need your paper signed. Okay, thank you. Meeting adjourned.